The sun was setting over Miami's shimmering skyline when Marcus Reed, CEO of one of the world's leading artificial intelligence companies, stepped out of his sleek black Arndor and walked toward the towering entrance of the Grand Regency Hotel. Clad in a tailored navy suit, Marcus exuded quiet power. The Grand Regency was known for its exclusivity. Its penthouse suite, a sprawling space of luxury, was reserved only for the most elite guests. Marcus had booked it weeks in advance for a rare weekend of rest between high-stakes negotiations and product launches. But as he approached the marble counter, something shifted. "Good evening, sir. May I help you, Kelly Monroe?" The lead front desk manager greeted him with a tight smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Yes, Marcus Reed. I have a reservation for the presidential suite," Marcus said calmly, handing over his ID and confirmation number. Kelly's eyes flickered over the documents before her polite smile stiffened. She hesitated, glanced at her screen, then exchanged a quick look with Nick Harris, the floor supervisor who had just walked over. "I'm sorry, Mr. Reed," Kelly said. Her voice clipped, "but it seems there's been a mistake. The presidential suite is unavailable tonight." Marcus's brow furrowed slightly. "That's strange. I received confirmation this morning." Nick stepped in, crossing his arm. "We understand your frustration, sir, but this suite is reserved for one of our longtime VIP guests, Mrs. Amanda Lewis. She always stays in that room when she visits, and she's just arrived unexpectedly." Before Marcus could respond, a sharp voice rang out behind him. Amanda Lewis herself, a wealthy socialite known in Miami circles, strode forward, her designer heels clicking on the marble. She gave Marcus a withering glance before addressing Kelly and Nick. "Is there a problem?" "You know, I always stay in my suite." Kelly immediately nodded. "Of course, Mrs. Lewis. We're resolving it now." Marcus kept his composure, placing his platinum membership card on the counter. "With all due respect, I've reserved and paid for that suite. Here's my confirmation." Amanda's eyes narrowed. "Surely you understand, certain accommodations are customary. I'm sure there's a more appropriate room for you." Nick's tone hardened. "We can offer you a deluxe room on the 5th floor, sir. That's the best we can do tonight." Marcus's jaw clenched, but his voice remained even. "I'll need to speak with your general manager." Nick smirked. "That won't change anything." Around them, other guests began to notice the rising tension. A few discreetly lifted their phones, recording. Minutes later, Marcus was escorted out of the lobby under the watchful eyes of security, his belongings untouched, his reservation canceled. He stood outside the cool night air, brushing against his face, and took a slow breath. He had been here before, in boardrooms, in country clubs, in quiet moments of exclusion. But this time, something was different. Marcus pulled out his phone and made 2 calls. First to Samantha Blake, his chief operating officer. Second to Jessica Grant, his legal counsel. Both picked up within seconds. "It's time," Marcus said simply. What Kelly, Nick, and Amanda didn't know was that Marcus's company, Reed Tech Solutions, had spent the last 6 months negotiating a $50 million contract with the Grand Regency's parent company to overhaul their customer service and security systems. And Marcus wasn't just a vendor. He was their largest strategic investor. Within hours, the incident went viral. Videos of Marcus's dignified refusal to accept discrimination and Amanda's unmistakable arrogance were shared across social media with hashtags like #JusticeForMarcus and #GrandRegencyBias, trending worldwide. Civil rights groups, celebrities, and business leaders joined the chorus of outrage. As media coverage exploded, Marcus worked behind the scenes with his team, preparing legal briefs, drafting public statements, and mobilizing stakeholders. Samantha coordinated a network of allied investors, ensuring they were ready to act decisively. Jessica combed through legal precedents, preparing for potential litigation. Reed Tech's media team crafted a series of powerful messages, turning the narrative into a wider conversation about systemic discrimination in the luxury hospitality industry. The next morning, Thomas Bryant, CEO of the Grand Regency's parent corporation, was on the phone with Marcus. His voice trembled with urgency. "Mr. Reed, I want to extend my deepest apologies. This is unacceptable." "I'm not here for apologies," Mr. Bryant, Marcus replied coolly. "I'm requesting an emergency board meeting today." By 3 p.m., Marcus entered the sleek glass boardroom of the Grand Regency's headquarters, accompanied by Samantha and Jessica. The room was packed. Board members, legal teams, and PR executives all tense and silent. Without preamble, Marcus connected his tablet to the screen. "Let's begin." He presented a timeline of the incident video evidence and a detailed report of systemic discrimination documented over months of customer feedback. The board watched speechless as Marcus laid out a 5-point demand: immediate termination of Kelly Monroe and Nick Harris, a lifetime ban of Amanda Lewis from all Grand Regency properties, a public admission of fault in implementation of a comprehensive anti-bias training program, deployment of read text bias detection AI across all properties, and a $25 million fund to support diversity initiatives in the hospitality industry. The board pushed back, but Marcus was firm. Your stock dropped 15% overnight. Public trust is eroding. The choice is yours: transformation or collapse. By evening, Grand Regency announced sweeping reforms. Kelly, Nick, and Amanda were publicly held accountable. Anti-bias training commenced immediately, and Marcus's plan was adopted in full. The weeks that followed were marked by intensive training sessions, interviews, and deep reflection. Employees shared personal stories of bias and transformation. The hotel group became a case study in crisis response and corporate responsibility. Marcus returned months later, standing as keynote speaker at a newly established diversity initiative, greeted by standing ovations. The place where he was once rejected had become a symbol of meaningful change. But the story didn't end there. In the months that followed, Grand Regency faced ongoing scrutiny. Marcus was invited to appear on national news shows and speak at business conferences about corporate responsibility. Behind the scenes, he worked closely with Thomas Bryant and Samantha Blake to develop industry-wide standards for equity audits. New departments were established within the hotel chain, focused solely on monitoring fairness and inclusivity. Meanwhile, Jessica Grant pursued legal avenues, ensuring former employees like Kelly and Nick were held accountable beyond their dismissals. Amanda Lewis faced lawsuits for defamation and bribery, her social standing plummeting. Guests began to post their own stories of positive change at Grand Regency, many sharing how employees now went out of their way to make every visitor feel welcome and valued. 1 year later, Marcus stood once again at the Grand Regency, this time unveiling a commemorative plaque that read, "Justice, Accountability, and Change Began Here." In his speech, Marcus reminded everyone that real change is not a one-time event, but a continuous commitment. The hotel had become a blueprint for transformation in the industry, and Marcus's stand was remembered as a catalyst for global reform in hospitality practices. The public reaction was immense and sustained. Social media campaigns emerged daily, with travelers around the world sharing their own experiences of discrimination and praise for the bold stand Marcus had taken. Influencers created awareness videos, and prominent civil rights activists held rallies in front of Grand Regency hotels, both in support of the reforms and as a reminder to other corporations. International news outlets ran editorials commending Marcus's courage and pushing for broader changes across industries. Petition drives and online forums sparked conversations about equity far beyond hospitality, inspiring airlines, restaurants, and luxury brands to reevaluate their own practices. The phrase "a Marcus moment" entered popular culture as shorthand for standing up firmly but gracefully against injustice. The Grand Regency saw a significant rebound in bookings, with many guests openly expressing their support for the hotel's transformation journey. Taking his mission further, Marcus founded the Global Equity Initiative, GEI, a nonprofit organization dedicated to auditing fairness in luxury service sectors worldwide. GEI quickly gained traction, partnering with hospitality giants, airlines, and entertainment venues to assess and improve their inclusivity standards. Marcus and his team developed a certification program, the READ Standard, which became an industry benchmark for ethical service. At the same time, Grand Regency transformed its Miami location into a flagship training center where staff from international hotels came to learn from its hard-won lessons. In interviews, Marcus emphasized that true equity is a process, not a checkbox, and he called on leaders everywhere to embrace accountability. Each year, Grand Regency hosted an international summit on diversity, with Marcus delivering keynote addresses that inspired waves of policy changes across industries. The lasting legacy of his stand wasn't just policy reform, it was a shift in culture, with Marcus emerging as a symbol of resilience and forward-thinking leadership.